Hello everybody. This video is for Emeritus faculty on how to get their information on the faculty directory here at USM. We are powering this through digital measures. You can get to the faculty directory by going to usm.edu/faculty-directory. That'll take you to the directory page where you can search for a variety of professors, disciplines, etc. So you can search for expertise, discipline, name, school, college, that kind of stuff, and find faculty in those areas. So I'm just going to show you my particular profile. So we'll just type in Masterson, and that takes me to my faculty web profile, if you will, in the faculty directory, and you'll see that a variety of pieces of information come up. My title, my rank, my areas of expertise, the college, the school, the discipline I belong to, my location, and my email address. And of course my photograph comes in as well if you have a photograph on file with University Communications. If you don't have a photograph on file with University Communications, please send a professional photograph to your school director, and they will forward that to University Communications on your behalf. You'll also note that my name is hyperlinked with this arrow, and you can click on that and go into more information. Now on my laptop, for some reason, it makes my picture awfully large, but that's not typically how it looks on most desktops. But what you'll see is my name, my biography information that I've put into the system, my degrees, so my organic chemistry PhD, my chemistry bachelor's degree, where I got those from, the courses that I've taught that I want to share with the public. I don't put everything that I've ever taught on this list. Publications. So here I can have up to 10 publications that I want to share, any publication that I want and in any order that I want. And you'll notice that it's got the title of the publication, the journal, the year, and then a link to digital object identifier, or a DOI number, that allows individuals to link directly to the publication from the publisher site. Any certifications and licensures that I have also appear, and then I can show also up to 5 professional affiliations. So in this case, of course, the American Chemical Society, so on and so forth. So you can put these in any order you want as well. It's pretty easy to do. So how did all this information get put into the faculty web profile? Well, we use digital measures, a platform called Digital Measures to manage this. And what you can do is you can go to Edit Profile, and it will take you to the Digital Measures login page, where you will just enter your W plus your IMPL ID number, and you'll put in your password. And I'm going to tell it to update. I had to update my password this morning. And that will take you into a panel that will look more like this, actually. So I'm the super user on this, and so my view looks just a little bit different than you when you log in. But when you log in, you'll see this Manage Activities, or Manage Your Activities panel, where you can have a bunch of general information on teaching, scholarship, and service. And for the purposes of emeritus faculty, there's only a couple areas where you really need to pay attention to, unless you're also teaching a class at the university, and I won't get into that today. But you can put information in any one of these panels where it will allow you to do so. So you can always go into personal and contact information. You can change your prefix. That will be populated on your web profile. Anything that has a lock on it you cannot change, but you can change your preferred first name. So if you typically go by Bob, but your real name is Robert, of course it'd say Robert here, but you could type Bob, and Bob would appear in the faculty web profile page. You can change just about any information that you have here that you want. It's very important to note this photograph is not, let me repeat that, is not the photograph that gets populated on the faculty web profile. So don't put a photograph here thinking that it's going to populate that faculty web profile. That's just not how iTech has set our system up to work. That photograph is there for other reasons. So you can edit pretty much so any of this other information as you wish. You have an area called Biography Expertise and Web Profile. This is going to be the main area that you all are going to be focusing on for your information for your web profile. But before we jump into this, I want to show you a couple other panels first that you really need to have populated before you can actually select stuff in this panel to appear on the web page. So over here to the right, you'll see professional memberships, and you can enter in as many professional memberships as you want. I've got several of my memberships listed. You will simply come up here to add a new item. It will bring up a panel where you can type in the name of the organization, an abbreviation for the organization if appropriate. You can put in the scope. Is it an international, national, regional, state, or local organization? You can put any kind of description that you want, and then you can put the years in which you were active with that particular organization. Now, it's very important that you understand dates in digital measures. So dates in digital measures are very finicky, and so if you put a start date and an end date, they can't be the same date. That's very important to start with. If you have a date range, so if I joined an organization in March of 2000 and I stopped being a member of that organization in March of 2002, I would enter those dates. However, if you started an organization and it's ongoing, you would enter the start date and leave the end date blank, and so that would just show that it's from whatever date to present. So you can enter in your information here. You can save, or you can save and add another, and stay with the this panel and continue to populate that. Since I've already got all my stuff in, I'm not going to enter anything else, but you can see how those are showing up. So definitely want to go in and enter your professional memberships first. Another thing you're going to want to enter early on is your publication. So down here under Scholarship, Research, and Creative Activities, in the Publications panel, you're going to want to enter your publications before you ever go into that web profile panel and start updating it. Now, you can actually import information in pretty easily. So if you would go to the Import, and if you're fortunate enough to have your work appear in Web of Science, Crossref, or PubMed, you can actually search for your information, search like the Web of Science, and then select the things that you want and have those come over automatically. Also, if you have your information in something like EndNote or Zotero, or you want to get something from Google Scholar, you can actually import those publications from what's called a BibTeX file. And you can find information about a BibTeX file by clicking on the question mark here. And when you click on that, it will take you to an overview of BibTeX imports, and so it'll teach you how to build a BibTeX file if you need help with that. I also have a video on my YouTube channel about building a BibTeX file from Google Scholar, and so if you need help with that, just send me an email and I'll forward you the link to that particular video. It's, I don't know, 10 minutes or so long that will show you how to build a BibTeX file pretty quick. So once you've imported your publications, they will appear in your panel, and so you can actually go into the panel and do any additional edits, because when you import, not all the information comes through. So let's look at this particular article, my most recent article that got published this year. You'll see the stuff that came over was a variety of different things. The title of the contribution comes over, the current status you can change. Is it published? Is it worked? Have you submitted it? So on and so forth. The journal name. You can put in the impact factor or the acceptance rate if you know it. Of course, your volume or page numbers. You'll want to mark whether it was peer-reviewed or refereed, or no if it was not peer-reviewed or refereed. You can come in and play with the authors a little bit. So these are the authors that came in from my import on this particular one. You'll notice the institution company, you have to go in and add that because that's not going to pull over from an import. And then any of these authors who happen to be a student, you can actually mark what their role was, right? So graduate student, undergraduate, or high school student. So you can mark that kind of stuff in there. It's very helpful for us in terms of knowing what our students are working on at the university. And so you can add as many authors as you need. You can add all of these authors manually if you need to. It's just easier to do it on a data import. Here is that digital object identifier number. That's going to be very important for you to cut and paste into this section so that people who are looking at your web profile can link to that particular publication pretty easily. I always cut and paste the abstract in there. I always put a copy of the full text in there as a PDF file. But you don't have to. That's just up to you. But I use it to keep track of all these files as well, so it's pretty convenient. And then once you've made any of the changes that you wanted, of course, you're going to have to save and edit those publications. So once you've got all of your publications in that you're interested in having into the system, then we can go over to the web profile panel and start to populate our web profile. So it's very important to note that as Emeritus faculty, you certainly have a long list of publications and creative works that you could list in digital measures. You're certainly under no obligation to go back and completely replicate your curriculum vitae in digital measures as an Emeritus faculty member. But just keep in mind that if you want it to appear on your web profile, it needs to be in the system. So your publications, your professional memberships, those types of things need to be in digital measures before they will display. Another thing that you'll also need to go in and do a little bit of editing on is your education panel up here at the up here under general information. So come down to education and click on it, and you'll see your degrees that are listed there. If you find any errors with any of this information, you can always click on this mock form and put in a request for review of that information. It doesn't happen instantly. It takes a little bit of time for human resources and myself to actually go in and do the research that we need to do to update anything. But I'm gonna show you most of the information should be populated in, and you can edit some of it. So let's just go to my PhD, click on that, and what you'll see is a date completed. Now HR does not deal with the date or with the month, excuse me, just the year. So that's why only the year appears, and you cannot edit anything that has a red R on it. That means it's read-only to the faculty member, including Emeritus faculty. And so this information is coming directly out of our human resources system. The degree, of course, was a PhD. The institution was University of Oklahoma. Notice some of these areas did not have red R's, and so I put in Norman, Oklahoma, United States. The emphasis major for me was chemistry, common general, and that may sound odd to you, but really what this is, if you look at this question mark, it gives you information on what this really means, and it tells you that this particular field is based only on the zip code description. This isn't what is listed on the transcript, okay? And it turns out that we are not pulling this information to the faculty web profile because it does come over very weird. People typically don't think of their major as their zip code description, but that in fact is what your major was, not what was listed on your transcript in terms of how HR thinks of it anyway. And so that's how we pull that information. However, under the supporting areas of emphasis, notice that it's not a red R. I typed in organic chemistry. That's what I did all my work in as a graduate student. And if you click on the question mark again, you will see that it says this field is where you may enter your major as it appears on your transcript. This will appear on your web profile. So if you go back to my web profile, you remember it said organic chemistry, PhD, University of Oklahoma, and gave the year. And so it's pulling that information from there. So you'll want to go in and add whatever you want here, however you want your education degree to appear on the web profile. You have the ability to go in and add that. You can add your dissertation thesis title. It doesn't get pulled though. You can add any additional details that you want. You can put in your advisors if you want to. You can put any associated coursework if you want to, but none of that information is going to pull into the web profile, which is really probably what you're most concerned with at this point. So once you have gone in, let me get back to the main file. Once you've gone in and you've put in your professional memberships, you've put in your publications, you've made sure that your education is right. Now it's time for us to come up here to the Biography Expertise web profile panel. And so when you click on that, it's going to take you to a series of boxes that you can input information for the web directory. So you'll notice here that we have brief biography. This brief biography, this very first one, does not get pulled onto the web profile. It's only the web profile biography that gets populated. So by brief biography here, digital measures means 20,000 characters, which is like 5 pages of text. And so that is clearly way too much for a web profile biography. But some people have lengthy biographies and they want those to be within their CV management system, which is what digital measures really kind of is. And so you can put as much stuff as you want there. However, for the web profile, you need to have a shorter biography. And so we limit that character count to 1,000 because we only have so much space on the web for someone's biography. But we do recommend that you keep it between 600 and 800 characters. Now, my biography, I always kept it fairly brief, and so all I did was just cut and paste and made both of them the same. And so the only thing that you need to remember is that this is the one that's going to appear on your web profile. Your areas of specialization are going to pull into your web profile as well. I like to separate mine by commas, so organic chemistry, amino acid synthesis, so on and so forth, and that's how it's going to appear on the web profile. If you want it to be different, you can input it differently. It's just a text box. Your professional interests will not appear on your web profile, so you can populate this, but it won't appear in your web profile, nor will other interests. Your notable courses taught will appear on your web profile, and so however you enter those in here is how it's going to enter into your web directory profile, if you will. So the way that I like to do mine is I separated mine out by undergraduate and graduate. So I had undergraduate courses, I put a colon, and then I listed the course prefix, number, and then gave a description of it in parentheses. That's how I wanted to do it. And then I did a space, and then I put graduate courses, colon, and then the graduate courses that I want to list. It's not necessary that you list each and every course that you've ever taught. Some people do that. I think that kind of clutters the web profile, but it's completely up to you. I just listed the courses that I felt were really relevant to the things that I do regularly. So I didn't include the special topics, one-off kind of things that I've done several times at the graduate level. I just didn't feel that was worth listing or anything that I wanted to list. But if you want to list them, feel free to do that. You'll also see your publication panel here. You can list up to 10 publications in the web profile, so you can select the number of publications to add. So I've got 8 publications listed, but you can list up to 10. So if you want all 10, put in your 10 rows. And then what you do is you come here and you select from your list of publications that are in your publications panel that I asked you to go in and populate before you came here. And so you just simply select which publication you want to be the first publication, so on and so forth. Okay, so you would get your publications input here after you have actually populated that publication panel under the research and scholarship area in digital measures. Now you can use these arrows, these up and down arrows, to change the order of the publication. So let's say I put this one in as number 1, but really I want that to be listed number 2. I could demote that by clicking the down arrow and it would move it down 1. So you can move these around pretty easily. But after you do that, always remember to to hit save so that all of your changes will take place. So let's go back. So you can select, so let's say you have 100 publications in your publications panel under the research and scholarly activities stuff, but you can select any 10 that you want to be populated on the web profile. And again, completely up to you. The same thing goes for creative activity. I have no creative activities, but if you're in the humanities or the arts and you have a variety of creative activities, you can also select creative activities from the creative panel in digital measures, and I'll go back and show you where that's at. It's in the same areas as publications, and you fill it out essentially the same way. So nothing particularly new there. And then once you have those populated, you can change the order if you want as well. And then professional memberships, when you come in, you can select whichever organizations you want to list, and of course you can change the order in which these appear as well. You can also put in language proficiencies here, and your language proficiencies will also appear on your web profile if you put those in here. So, be careful. Whatever you have listed in here will appear on digital measures. So, I really didn't want to list that, I speak English, so I've just left mine blank. But you can put that if you want. If you happen to speak 4 languages, you can put all 4, and those will appear on your web profile as well. And then you can put international experiences here as well. None of this, though, will appear on your faculty web profile. We just decided as we put together the web pages for the faculty that we didn't want to go that route. Of course, you'll want to save the information, and then that will take you back. And I mentioned that I wanted to show you where the creative stuff is. So here under scholarship, research, and creative activities, same places that we've looked at publications, you can also input your creative artistic performances and exhibits. You would just go in there and fill out the information. It's pretty much so just like for a publication. So you'd want to fill that information out as well. Okay, so once we've done that, then let's go back to the faculty directory. And you will see where all of that information is going to populate. Right, so there's my degrees. There's that supporting area of emphasis. There's the degree. There's the the institution, and there's the year. There's my courses taught, and notice it's just like I typed it into digital measures. My publications, the 8 that I selected. Okay. I should note that this is not a complete reference, right? We're not including all of the detail. There's certainly not the volume and all the page numbers and all that kind of stuff. This is really just to, if somebody's interested in the title of what it is that you were working on, they can then click the DOI link and get to it and get all the information that they need. And then the professional affiliations, the certifications and licensures, I won't go through that. And notice mine does not have the languages, but if you have languages entered in, that would actually appear. And if you have creative activities would also appear on this list. But since I have nothing listed there, it's not pulling that information. Now, and then if there's my biography, my brief web bio that is limited to 1,000 characters. And I don't know exactly how many characters mine is right off the top of my head, but it's well under 1,000 characters. So you can actually get a lot of information into 1,000 characters pretty easily if you work hard at it. So the faculty web profile panel, or the faculty directory, if you will, as it's listed here, gets updated twice a day. So sometime around 9 a.m. in the morning, it goes through and updates, and then usually sometime after 3 p.m., I'm not exactly sure the exact time, the system updates as well. So you can make changes to your faculty web profile page in the faculty directory twice a day now by just simply going in and changing stuff on that biography and web profile panel that we looked at. So I encourage you to go in to Digital Measures. You have an account as an Emeritus faculty that I've set up for you. You can go in and edit the stuff that's already in there. You can go in and add the information that you need to add, and make sure that gets populated on your faculty web profile. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me, douglas.masterson@usm.edu. You can find me on the faculty directory. I've also got a phone number in my office. I'm quite frequently out of the office though, so it's probably best to try to get me by email. So hope you enjoy filling out your information so it'll appear on the faculty web directory. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Thanks.